turn around and take...
My name's Brittany Albrecht. We're at Academy of Hope, and I am the lead teacher here. My interest was originally secondary education, working in high schools, but as I started working here, I began to really love working with the adult population and people who are returning back to pursue their high school diploma. I think there's a tremendous emphasis on supporting K-12 education, which is very important and very valuable, but recognizing that people have left school for a variety of reasons, and there are lots of things that have either forced people out of school, or they just weren't ready to be in school at the time when they were in K through 12 ed. And so I love the fact that I can be a part of getting them back into education and plugging them back into pursuing their goals and dreams, and that it's not just a one-time thing. Either you do it K through 12, and if you don't, then too late, you missed your chance. And so I like being a part of helping people get back into education and see their goals. I've come across a wide variety of reasons that people left school or didn't complete their education. For a lot of our older students, it's things like they left just to get a job, and they were able to get a job without a GED. And we have students who have worked 30 years in great government jobs and lost them because they didn't have a GED. We also have women who have left because they became pregnant and left to take care of their children. I had a number of students who left because a parent died and they were responsible for siblings or other family members. And I've seen that some students have left because they just didn't feel like they were at a place to be in high school at that time, or they were maybe being bullied, and all of those can, just a wide variety of reasons that can drive someone to leave school.
Run? Yeah, that works. Okay.
There was a student that I was close to at a satellite site when I was working over there. He's 25, I think, and he is a massive guy, really always kind of wanted to work in construction. He's always been really good at working with his hands, and we were talking one day about, what do you want to do after you get your GED? And he really had just not ever thought about what he would do after he got his GED. That was kind of his goal, was to get his GED, and so that was what he wanted to do. And he was kind of like, well, I think, I'm a big guy, I can carry a lot of things and do construction, so I think I'll probably just do that. And I said, if that's what you want to pursue, that's great, we can help you with that. Have you ever thought about anything else? And he had a really strong interest in art and was always drawing and sketching, and he kind of said, well, I would be really interested in being in art. I said, what about teaching art? I know you're interested in that. You have a really good relationship with the other students. And he said, well, I can't be a teacher because I dropped out of school. And I said, that would make you the best teacher because you can understand what students are going through. And I think that moment where he kind of thought that maybe he could pursue other things than he had considered was a really great success and victory, I think, just that shift of mindset. We also see a lot of students who are able to finally start to help their kids with math. Math is a big one. Fractions are really daunting to a lot of our students, so when they get it and they're able to help their kids with fractions, that's something that you see a lot of pride. The students take a lot of pride in that. I see a lot of students who just want to set a good example. They're telling their kids to stay in school and go to class, and they feel kind of like hypocrites if they haven't done that themselves. So certainly I see a lot of parents who want to help their children, but almost more so I see parents who just want to be a good example and want to be able to stand by their word by pursuing their own education. The students are incredibly persistent. When I started my master's program, I knew when I would end it. You get this number of credits and you do it this amount of years and then you're done. And with any other program, whether it's a bachelor's or just a high school diploma in K through 12, you have a number of credits you need to complete and a number of years it takes, and then you're done. And your GED is really the only thing that it's not like that. Some people it goes quickly, some people it takes a long time, and it just is about how long it takes to get to that testing point. And so I think any student I see who comes and pursues this program, I'm already just impressed with their persistence, because you're entering into something that you don't necessarily know the end date of. I think that it's incredibly important that students realize that they're valued and know that they're cared about, because otherwise pursuing your GED gets really difficult and it takes a long time. And if you don't feel valued, it's really easy to just say, I just can't do this right now, there's too much going on, or it's just way harder than I thought. We have a lot of students who say, I didn't think it would be this hard, or I didn't think it would take that long. And I think if students don't feel like they're supported and encouraged, they just don't want to continue. It just becomes too daunting. Because our students are adults, we see that they're working through a lot of other issues besides just school. Almost all of our students have children, and so they're working with trying to get their children in daycare, getting them to and from school. A number of our students do have jobs, and so they're trying to balance a work schedule with a school schedule. It can be really frustrating for a student, I think, because they recognize they need to have a job to make money, but they know that they need to get their GED to get a better job. They have family members, parents, aunts and uncles that they're taking care of as well, which leads to just a lot of stress on their plate. So really trying to balance that is really difficult, and we have a number of students who work really hard to find that balance. I think there's a misconception that adults will be more likely to kind of advocate for what they need, which is not the case. As a teacher of adults, I've really recognized that a lot of the assessments and check-ins that I did when I was doing high school and younger students are still necessary here to check in with adults, because they're not necessarily going to ask for help with the things they need help with, because they don't want to be perceived as weak or like they don't know it, and they oftentimes just think, well, I'll just figure it out on my own, and that just becomes more frustrating. I think that the biggest way that we can encourage our students and support them is to know them and know the things that they're going through, and know kind of what their home lives look like, what their challenges look like, so that I know when a student's gone, I can check in and say, I know your mom's been sick, what's going on, did something happen? We do have some students who maybe struggle with procrastination or motivation, and when we know those things about them, then we can really reach out to them in those areas where they're maybe beginning to struggle and feel like this is pointless, this is taking forever, and really be able to touch base with each individual student and have a conversation about how to reignite that motivation that might sometimes wane. So I really think it's to be able to give that encouragement piece, it's so necessary to really know the individual stories of our students.